Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to keep taking off with this week's theme of special selections, and today we're checking out AVIATIONS. The song is Outliers, parentheses Retrospect. It's not within the quotation, so I'm not sure if this is a retrospect of the song Outliers. Oh, it's a newly recorded version of Outliers from their 2012 debut album. Alright, so at least I got that out of the way. This one is requested by Kevin McGuire. Says we'll go with Outliers by AVIATIONS. Alright, so let's get into this one. Nice little ambient beginning here. So we're in an 11 pulse, so alternating 5/4 and 6/4. Really beautiful vocal work over these really nice soft instruments underneath. Harmony work. Nice little flourish there. Oh, the song's taking off. That was a clean. Yeah, this rhythm's a bit turbulent right here. Really just syncopated. Really cool accent work going on. And that theatric flair is nice. Nice harmony work on the piano. Oh, I kind of wish we had some vocals over this. Introduction of some nice counterpoint. As it stands though, they just traded melodies from one voice to another. And that's fine, I mean it sounds phenomenal, don't get me wrong. That nice little, it felt like a ritardando there at the end. It might have just been some lengthening of the notes. Real clean drum fill. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, the chord flavors they're working with are nice, creating these really complex emotional layers. This section specifically reminds me of some of the more melodic sections of Last Chance to Reason. Yeah. I like how even in this breakdown it's still uplifting. You know, we haven't come crashing down into some sort of darker aspect yet. Well, spoke too soon. God, those notes in the piano. Talk about some dissonance. So we're in 4/4, but I think one of the bars. Yeah, I think there's an extra beat in bar 4 of that 4/4, and here the theatric aspect comes back in. I think this is my favorite part of the band so far. It's how they just kind of unapologetically dive into these theatrical aspects, the larger than life string sections. Gorgeous writing too. Yeah, and it's nice to see they're sticking with this atmosphere too. Those little flourishes. Yeah. Very nice. Full band got in on that syncopation. That piano run, yeah, that right there. The snare roll into the overarching strings and the subtle piano. So theatrical. Oh man. Is that that? Is that that? Are we done? I mean, there's 8 minutes of silence. Jeez, that is Yep. All right. Yeah, that was phenomenal. Loved every bit of that. Um, where do I even start? So yeah, the song is very uplifting. I don't know what the lyrics are. Sorry, but the atmosphere, the tone, everything is just so positive. They're working with a lot of very bright, colorful chords, and they just shine through. They are just gorgeous. They're whoever composes their chord progressions, and especially some of the more unique ones, like I think I specifically mentioned the piano part after the dark breakdown section. I think that was the part. Um, yeah, they were just dipping into all of these very complex emotional emotionally complex chords that don't really have any strong resonant features like we could typically associate major with happy or minor or um, diminished with sort of negative. The chord that he was picking and the order that he was moving them, or the order that he was placing them, and the way that they were resolving into each other, was just introducing these mixed emotional ideas. And yeah, whichever one of them is the composer of the group, or if it's a group effort, just phenomenal job on these chord progressions. And that doesn't even have anything or that's not even touching on whoever composed the melody lines to go over them, because the ways that the notes play around with the chords themselves, ducking in and out of the key, or taking notes from the next chord and sort of being a lead in, kind of giving a little bit of foreshadowing to what's coming up soon in the next quarter, something like that. It's just phenomenal work. The composition here is nothing short of fantastic. This is a song I need some sheet music to. 100%. It is just done extremely well, and I don't believe I can gush enough about that. There is a very strong djent foundation going on here, and there are moments where it works for me and moments where it doesn't. Um, I do wish I do wish the band would step away from the highly rhythmic, uh, lower, foundational work. A lot of the foundations end up being highly rhythmic, and it's it's fine. It works. I don't know if I could take a whole album of it. I would probably deal with it once. Especially if I was in the right mindset, I don't think it would be dealing as much. I do enjoy djent. Um, we did Djent Week recently, and I've mentioned before, Periphery is a pretty big band for me. So I enjoy that kind of work, but I think here it tended to. There are sections where it felt like it might not necessarily detracted, but definitely uh, distracted. Yeah, that's a confusing way to write it. It didn't detract from the music, but it might have distracted from uh, some of the writing that was going into the surrounding chordal and melodic work. So maybe that's just my perspective on a first time listen. I may come to really enjoy it on a subsequent listen, but as it stands, it felt in a sense out of place in a few sections, and I do wish that they could have went to a different sort of foundational writing rather than almost always going back to that highly rhythmic chugging stuff that they have. Um, Especially for an 11-minute song. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just me. Maybe everybody else hears that and it's just like a masterpiece and they loved every bit of it. But it's, I don't know. I would have to listen to it again and take notes of which sections felt odd and then really hone in on why it felt odd in those sections and not others. But yeah, just the first time listen, there were sections I was just not happy with it. I wish there was something else going on to put underneath the melodic work that was going on. Speaking of melodies, the vocalist is just, yeah, gorgeous voice. And I like how he showed a lot of facets. We saw sort of the maybe like a mixed chest and head with a little bit of airiness in it for some more vulnerable, but he also displayed some very powerful cleans at the end when we saw the more majestic aspects, and the song really opens up close to the ending. And there was even a couple of times when he dug in and got a little bit of grit into it. Almost sounded like he was getting ready to shift into a Fry scream, but never actually did. He just kept that restrained, and there was two or three notes that he added some compression on, and yeah, just a wide range of vocal work. And I can actually say that about a lot here about ranges. The guitar work, we saw a bit of range. A lot of the, like I said, underlying work is sort of rhythmic gent stuff, but we saw a really beautiful, tasteful solo with some nice runs in there to give it sort of that rock metal edge, but also just the way that it was phrased and the story that it was telling. Um, the way that it took time to hold out notes and pause and slow down the story writing a little bit before running into, maybe a a one beat flourish to take us into the next paragraph, so to speak. It's just such a tasteful soul. I loved it, every bit of it. It was just done so well. Even though, I've mentioned this before, what is a tasteful solo? It's a subjective thing. Some people can listen to full on, 64 bars of just shred, and it is the most gorgeous thing they've ever heard. For me, I tend to want a little bit of both. The shred is definitely important, I think, especially if that's the kind of energy you're trying to push forward. It's subject. Well, okay, let me rewind a bit. It's subjective to the listener and it's subjective to the song. You're not gonna shred over a four-piece string quartet that is a four-piece quartet. Good job being redundant. You're not gonna shred over a string quartet that is playing mostly chordal work and is really emphasizing, quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes, and the way that the notes are being interplayed with each other and creating these harmonic textures. You're not going to shred over that because no one else is playing fast. So it definitely requires you to know what the song is doing, how it's speaking, the vocabulary of the song, to know if just all out shredding is going to work for it. But then also the listener and their biases are going to come in as well. And I typically prefer a nice mix of both. I like to see some musician talent into it, as far as mechanical talent. But musical talent, writing a strong melody, I think is very important to me. And the melodic work here everywhere is gorgeous, and it continued to show up in the solo as well. So, yeah, that's what I mean when it was tasteful. Is that it sounded good to my ears because for me personally, I feel like it fit within my ideas of what makes strong melodic composition, mixed with some of the additional flourish you're going to get from being a solo, having the spotlight on the instrument. The drum work was impeccable. Some really interesting syncopation ideas going in there, flourishes and embellishments all throughout. Just some really clean work. And yeah, just everybody is just playing at the top of their game, right? The bass, the guitar, the pianist, the singer, the drummer, everybody's just killing it, right? They've all got chops. I don't think I need to say that. Anybody who listens to that knows that they've got chops. Um, to me, what really stood out is, like I said, the composition. But I also want to take a moment to talk about the song format or song. Why can't I think of the word I want? The way that the song moves throughout sections, the ordering of the sections, and how they kind of take all these ideas and create a story over these 11 minutes by basically emphasizing specific emotional elements throughout the song. There is actually a very clear movement from sort of the upbeat perkiness of the beginning to the really heavy breakdown section back into sort of the triumphant ending. And they do a phenomenal job of weaving. Well, I was going to go with some sort of analogy of weaving it all together, but I think another analogy would be carrying the listener throughout this in an order and way that makes sense. A lot of what's going on here is very different from sections before and after, but they tie it all together very neatly. And I think it's the way that they take their time to build sections, foreshadow the next sections, and then also, like I said, take their time transitioning into it. We don't really have very many abrupt section changes, abrupt transitions, and they do a lot of heavy lifting in the section prior, 4 to 8 bars leading up to a new section, by slowly introducing some of the ideas that are going to show up in it in one of the instruments. And it's just, it is, I don't even know. They are masters of their tools. They know exactly what tools they have to write, and they utilize them exceptionally well. And every bit of the composition comes across gorgeously. I would actually, this is kind of a strange request. I would love to hear this song in more of a traditional setting. Well, let me rephrase that. More of a classical setting. Um, Maybe a four-piece string quartet. Maybe a small orchestra. Maybe like some string quartet with um, maybe like a string duo, like a viola and a cello. I think those would be two good voices. And then like a clarinet and a trombone, maybe a trumpet, just to get a little bit more higher end in there. Um, and sort of transpose this music and arrange it for string and brass and woodwind. And maybe put a nice like a xylophone in there, a nice warm xylophone, like a marimba or something, um, for some auxiliary. Actually, the piano as a marimba. I don't know. Maybe the attacks will be too harsh on it. Maybe we could just stick with a traditional piano for that. Um, But anyways, yeah, I think this would sound phenomenal, and yeah, like I said, it's kind of a weird request, but I would love to hear an acoustic version of this with more classical style instruments rather than just acoustic guitars and basses. But yeah, who requested this one? Kevin. good choice, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people thanking you for this because, yeah, this is heavily popular. Tons and tons of requests come in YouTube comments. We had a couple people in Discord ask for it. There's a lot of aviation fans in the community, specifically asking for this song, actually. So, yeah, fantastic choice, and like I said, a lot of people are going to be happy that you suggested it. So that's going to wrap up my analysis of Aviation's Outliers, their retrospect version, the reimagining of it, re-recording of it. This is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Aviation's Outliers. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. If you're interested in joining the Discord community, you want to talk with other music lovers and find out awesome music, or even join any of the cool things that we do there, such as the composition jam. If you like to write music, or if you'd like to learn to write music, we do a monthly jam where we just write something. It's not a competition, there's no grading or anything like that. You write it, and at the end of the month, we all kind of take a chance to give some criticism and feedback, things that we liked, things that we didn't, and hopefully it helps you grow as a composer or a mixer. That's my that's my big issue. I am learning how to mix as we speak and doing these jams. So yeah, it's a really fun community learning thing. And like I said, since it's not a competition, we all kind of there's a specific chat area for it, and we can ask other people for help. Maybe we have an idea, we don't know where to take it, so someone will put up an excerpt, and we'll give some thoughts about it. And it's a way for the community to kind of come together as composers, or even people who don't know how to write music. There's a just trying to learn and help each other out to grow as music writers. So yeah, I love it. If you're interested in that, like I said, join the Discord. The link is in the description. If you could, like, subscribe, ring the bell, they help out the channel immensely. And I will be back with another video after this one. Actually, being that this one's half an hour long, the other one should already be up. So yeah, there's that. And then tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical and not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.